What's behind the increase in wax prices? Is it just inflation? Greed? Could there be something else at play? I'm going to discuss that next. All right, good day. Different kind of video today. Doing a little bit of commentary, share some thoughts as we get towards the end of the calendar year. Also, you probably have noticed a little bit of a different format here, some a different intro, etc. I'm playing around with some new software, trying to up my game and just add a little bit more polish, and hopefully as time goes on it gets even better. I welcome constructive feedback, positive, negative, indifferent, etc. All of that helps. So before I get into that, if you could please hit that subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. It'll help me grow this channel. So looking at the end of the year, last year I did a top 5 of my favorite sets for 2023. And I started reflecting and I thought, well, it's going to be kind of difficult to do that this year because of the changing landscape of the baseball card market. Specifically, the way Topps has been culling their products or their SKUs. And I get it a bit from last year where they cut Gypsy Queen and Fire. I kind of miss Fire. It's kind of quirky, different. Same with Gypsy Queen, but I get it, especially if it wasn't selling. This year, though, it's taken a turn, and I'm getting a sense that this is not just a matter of cutting what may be unpopular SKUs, etc. And I don't think it's necessarily the case because I believe they were pretty popular, the ones I'm about to talk about. But they seem to be reshaping the sports card market in a way that I don't think is necessarily for the best. So I do watch, I'm sure like you do, a lot of other sports card commentators, Sports Card Dad, Jeff Wilson, etc. Jeff Wilson had a video out recently that I think hit a lot of the really good points from a business perspective. Why Topps is what they're doing with their pricing and their print runs and the parallels, etc. There are a lot of people out there who want to go back to the days with shorter print runs, fewer parallels, and lower prices. But with the basics of economics, that's just not possible. You can't grow the hobby. You can't bring more people in and keep all of that the same. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to have runs on these boxes. On the secondary market, they're going to be jacked up. You're going to be, you go to a store, whether it's a hobby store, hobby shop, or a Target or Walmart or someplace like that, and you won't be able to find boxes because the flippers will be back, the box flippers. Remember back in the days of the pandemic when people would just raid these stores, strip them clean, and then sell them for double, triple, whatever on eBay, where people, regular people, couldn't get product because of these flippers, because of the short supply. But you can't just increase the supply without making some adjustments to the print run or even the number of parallels. Let's talk about the parallels for a second. If you don't increase the number of parallels while you're increasing the print run to satisfy demand, guess what? Your best chance of anything is just a box full of base. Who wants that? It's like going back to the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, or even during the 80s itself. That's, where's the fun in that? So, but anyway, what I'm talking about here, though, is the way that they're culling certain SKUs and jacking up prices for certain products to a way that's not really sustainable, I don't think. So, for example, one of my favorite products each year has been Topps Archives. I love the throwback to the older designs. There's quite a bit of nostalgia there while still getting the newer players. It's a really fun product. I had an absolute blast opening one of those lunchbox tins full, with the cards last year. I had a hoot. I had a hoot the previous year opening up archives. This year, where is it? We're getting near the end of the year. We're seeing the products that Topps has got lined up for the rest of the year and even going into January. Nowhere. I think they quietly killed it, which is a shame because it's a product that you could get. You could get a hobby box for about last year, what, 120, 125 bucks. You can get that lunchbox tin for $75. It was a huge, huge blast, especially if you got a kid. And the nostalgia for someone my age, when I was a kid, that's how we brought our lunches in, with these metal lunch boxes. But it's nowhere to be found. Another favorite one of mine that's a bit on the higher end, but was a fun rip, and I could justify the cost because it was just so fun, was Inception. Topps Inception. Nowhere to be found. It looks like it's probably been cut. And then I took a dive into the prices of the wax that is still available. And yeah, we've seen some pricing, we've seen price increases all over the place. But when I look at what's available, and I take out the products that are based on prospects, I'm not a prospector, okay? Maybe this video is really about what I'm looking for, but I'm not one of those who's hunting the lottery ticket, okay? I collect Blue Jays cards, okay? I'm not collecting or going after that one hot rookie, Paul Skeens, whatever. If I get a Paul Skeens card and it's valuable, great, awesome, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for cards for my collection. So when I see products like, the Platinum Anniversary, which the rumors are that they're looking to get rid of that, that's one of my favorite products. We don't see that next year. That's another big loss too, of an affordable, fun product. But anyway, you take a look at something like Cosmic Chrome. It completely jacked up the price. And there's others like Finest, jacked up the price on those. So you've had, let's take a look at those two. You could get both of those at a pretty reasonable price, about $300 for Cosmic. Granted, it didn't have any autographs. It was one per case, but it was a fun rip. And it wasn't so expensive that you could just, I had fun opening it, okay? I got a couple cards for my PC. In terms of economics, it wasn't a winner, but in terms of fun, it was a blast. Finest was a similar case. And for each of those products, last year, the per card cost, and I'm looking at the per card cost, not just the cost of the box, but the per card cost in the box was between $3 and $4. A bit pricey, but not too crazy, okay? Not so crazy that I couldn't have a bit of fun. No. I'm not wealthy, but we're comfortable, but we still have to have a budget. So last year, a box that is $300, that's now $400, and I might get one or two Blue Jays cards out of it. That's kind of a hard sell. Now the fun is kind of taken out of it. Yeah, there's autographs, but at what cost? Now the cards are $5 to $6, between $5 and $6 a card in that box. That's when it really starts hurting, when you finish the box and you maybe got 2 base cards for your collection. And that's where I'm seeing that's one part of this issue. The other is on the low end with archives missing, for example. Let's take a look at what's, again, not prospecting, because the only thing at that low end that would be prospecting would be Pro Debut, Topps Pro Debut. Well, you've got Big League. You've got Flagship. You've got Stadium Club is still kind of down there, but it's starting to inch up. And you've got Heritage, which is a set collector set. Beautiful set, love it, and I cannot wait, assuming they keep it, I cannot wait until they get to 1980 and 1981, my two favorite sets. But after they release those in the early part of the year, and really Big League is really aimed at kids. I'm not really interested in that as an adult. So that really leaves, and I can only get so much Flagship. So I'm even leaving out in this discussion all the sets that have the Flagship design. Now you've got just Heritage and Stadium Club. And then everything else has been moved, like for example, Finest and Cosmic Chrome has been moved into a tier that is more breaker friendly. In other words, the only way you're going to get really any enjoyment out of that, I think, is if you join a break. Now, there's a lot of commentary out there about how breaking is bad for the hobby. It's got its pluses and minuses. And people complain, well, they're favoriting breakers. Well, it's not so much favoriting the breakers. That's just the means to the end. And I believe that end is you've got a couple SKUs, and I think that's what they're doing. They got just a couple SKUs at the low end. It's the gateway drug to get you into breaks. Why is that? Well, you got Fanatics Live. They're investing in that heavily. They've got a large number of breakers in there. The higher the product cost, the higher the fees that they're going to be able to charge, it becomes a real source of revenue. So they need to get you out of ripping your own stuff for fun and into paying other people to rip the stuff for you in the hopes that you get that big card. Granted, the singles market's not getting all that more expensive, which is a plus, unless you're breaking the stuff for fun. You want to get something back to help fund your hobby. But the point is, it seems to be that they're really hollowing out the low end, the low to mid end, and they're kicking some of the mid end products up into that high end to drive the breaking on Fanatics Live. So, what are your thoughts on this? Do you see them hollowing out that low to middle end? Is beyond just the box price, but even the per card price and everything, is it making it impossible for you to enjoy ripping some stuff for fun, even without worrying about finding that hit, but just enjoying the product and getting something for your collection? Or do you see it a different way? Leave some comments down below. Look forward to hearing what you're thinking. Talk to you later.